good late afternoon or perhaps early evening to you, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sage and you're watching 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade, and there's no better way to wind down the day or the week than with today's market close commentary. So let's dive straight in. The Australian shares closed marginally higher in a choppy trade on Friday as gains in healthcare and tech stocks were offset by losses in the energy and financial stocks. And after a strong rally in the past two sessions, the equity market witnessed subdued trade today as rise in COVID-19 cases and a delay in vaccination rollout dampened the sentiment. The S&P ASX 200 rose 8 points or 0.11% to a new record close. Over the last 5 sessions, the benchmark index gained 0.63%. And earlier today, ASX 200 opened lower and fell as much as 0.4%, undermining firm cues from Wall Street. The resurgence of the COVID-19 cases in the country spooked the market sentiment. The state of New South Wales has recorded 136 new locally acquired COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours compared to 124 registered Thursday, and this was the highest daily case tally since the highly contagious Delta variant outbreak began last month. Given the worsening situation in New South Wales, particularly in Sydney's southwest and western suburbs, the outbreak has been now regarded as a national emergency and called on the federal government to refocus the national vaccination strategy. Let us now look at the stocks' performances. Among the individual stocks, mineral exploration firm Nickel Mines was the top percentage gainer on the ASX, rising 6.75%. Some of the other notable gainers were the tech firm Nuix, gold miner Evolution Mining and global online marketplace Redbubble. On the flip side, gold miner Silver Lake Resources was the top loser on the ASX, falling 8.65%. And some of the other worst performers include fellow gold stock Northern Star Resources, media firm Nine Entertainment, energy firm Santos and casino operator Crown Resorts. And next in our segment, let's see how the sectoral indices performed today. The market breadth indicating the market's overall strength was mixed, with 7 of the 11 sectoral indices ending in the green, and the healthcare sector was the best performers with over 1% gain, followed by information technology, which rose 0.87%. Among others, the consumer discretionary, consumer staples and A-REIT ended with marginal gains. And meanwhile, the energy sector emerged as the worst performer with a 1% loss, and financial utilities and material sectors also ended in the red zone. In the technology space, ASX listed buy now, pay later shares were among the top gainers today. The sector leader Afterpay, Zip and Sezzle ended higher, and among others, software firms Nuix and Altium also settled in green zones. And moving on now to the energy space, the index heavyweights Woodside Petroleum, Beach Energy, Santos, Oil Search were all under stress today owing to a fall in the crude oil futures prices, and September delivery crude oil futures traded 0.4% down. Now let us move on to the miners space. The heavyweight miners BHP Group slipped into the red, snapping the 2-session gaining streak. Rio Tinto also ended lower, while Fortescue Metals ended marginally higher. In the yellow metal space, Silver Lake Resources was the worst performer, and the gold mining stocks such as Northern Star Resources, St Barbara, West Gold Resources and Ramelius Resources also closed lower. Bucking the trend, however, gold miner Evolution Mining was among the top gainer on the ASX pack today. In the banking sector, all of Australia's big 4 lenders, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, ANZ Banking Group, Westpac Banking Corp and the National Australia Bank ended in the red zone. Well, before we move on now to our next segment and take a look at more of the shares that were in the news today, it's time for a short break.
New Zealand is unique, and 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV is here to bring you all the latest news and trending market updates. Streaming across multiple platforms, so no matter where you are, whether it be at the beach or on the farm, you can count on the team here at 𝐊𝐶𝐞 TV to be your home for accessing the latest valuable insight into global issues that are affecting New Zealanders. Subscribe to our channels across YouTube, Facebook, also visit 𝐊𝐶𝐞.co.nz.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us. Sage here, your host from 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴 TV, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. Now, in this segment, we'll shift our focus onto the stocks that created a buzz today. And first up, the shares of software firm Altium rose as much as 1.5% today, snapping a 4-session losing streak. The stock ended the week with over 1.5% losses after it failed to secure a takeover bid from the US peer Autodesk. American software company Autodesk had withdrawn its $38.50 Australian per share takeover offer. And next up, the gold exploration company Western Gold Resources, a wholly owned subsidiary of GWR Group, made a weak debut on the ASX today. The gold stock declined as much as 9% to hit an intraday low of 18.2 cents against the listing price of 20 cents. And the Australian-focused explorer had received an overwhelming response to its $7 million Australian dollar IPO. The gold miner intends to use the IPO proceeds to increase its mineral resources by bringing the Wiluna project in Western Australia towards production. And the next shares to catch our interest was PointsBet Holdings, ended nearly 2% higher after the corporate bookmaker made a slew of announcements. The company has expanded its iGaming operations in the US with approval from the New Jersey Department of Gaming Enforcement. Its wholly owned subsidiary PointsBet New Jersey LLC has rolled out the proprietary iGaming platform in the state. And in a separate development, the company also announced appointment of Scott van der Velde as the Chief Executive Officer for PointsBet Canada, effective from 17th August 2021. Now, also making the news is the shares of Star Entertainment Group ended marginally lower, pairing the early gains, and the company has withdrawn a proposal to merge with fellow Australian casino operator Crown Resorts. However, as per Star's official statement, Crown still is willing to continue the merger discussions in terms acceptable to both of the business entities. And reacting to the news, shares of Crown Resorts dropped nearly 2%. Now, also catching our eye, fruit and vegetable supplier Costa Group Holdings shares ended in the green after it completed the retail shortfall book build for its fully underwritten retail entitlement offer, and book building commenced after the market closed on 22nd July 2021. Costa had offered approximately 8.5 million retail entitlements under the retail shortfall book build. And the previously mentioned Silver Lake Resources tumbled as much as 11% on a weak quarterly output. The company has posted group production of 64,000 ounces of gold equivalent for the June quarter. It is down 12% from a year earlier. And meanwhile, Evolution Mining shares rose after it completed the institutional component of its capital raising $400 million. The company intends to use the funds to acquire the assets from the Northern Star Resources. And the share price of the Western Areas surged as much as 6% on meeting the financial year 2021 production guidance. The company produced 16,180 tonnes of nickel during the financial year 2021. And meanwhile, the production at its flagship Forrestania mine in Western Australia climbed 16% in the June quarter. And before the break, we'll also look at PVW Resources. It rose as much as 8.5% on acquiring further land in Western Australia. The gold-focused miner said it has entered a deal with adjoining tenement holders to increase the prospective Kalgoorlie tenement package by 50%. And PVW Resources recently acquired the Stark Resources, a private miner which owned a portion of the Kalgoorlie land package located in Western Australia. And now it's time for another short break, but after the break we'll be taking a look at more shares that are in the news today. Crypto talk by 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴. The crypto market has been red hot given the Bitcoin rally since the past year. And now the most famous cryptocurrency has got competitors, Dogecoin and Ethereum. If the crypto market excites you, tune in with me, Sage, to know the latest developments about the existing digital currencies and the new ones that are joining the race. I'll help you understand the opportunities and the risks the crypto market has in store for you. For all the digital currency related developments, continue watching Crypto Talk by 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐼𝐴. Good afternoon, viewers. Thanks so much for joining us and welcome back. This is Sage. You're watching 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 TV live from Sydney. And this is the last show of the day, the last trade. And let us take a look at more of the shares that made the news today. High street retailer Myer Holdings gained over 2% on Friday. The company has secured a 10-year lease on a new 40,000 square metre facility in Victoria as its national distribution centre for both stores and online fulfilment. It expects that for online business, 70% of fulfilment will be performed by the National Distribution Centre. And the last share in our list today, shares of transport equipment manufacturer Maxi Trans Industries climbed as much as 44% on a divestment plan. The company said it will be divesting Trailer Solutions business and several properties for a total sale price of 48.3 million Australian dollars. And now let's quickly take a look over the Asian market performance. The Asian market were trading mostly lower on Friday as investors tracked the Chinese tech stocks in Hong Kong after regulatory concerns resurfaced. Hong Kong's Hang Seng was the worst performer in the region, falling nearly 1% amid the sharp selling in the tech stocks, and the shares of the Hong Kong listed Chinese tech firms were among the top losers. In a similar trend, China's Shanghai Composite was also down 0.65% as per Bloomberg's report. Beijing is considering harsh penalties on ride-hailing giant Didi, which recently made a debut on the US stock exchange. And among others, the Straits Times in Singapore dropped 0.2%, while Taiwan's weighted stock index was down 0.25%. But bucking the trend, South Korea's Kospi was trading flat with marginal gains, and India's BSE Sensex also rose over 0.2% in the opening trade. And meanwhile, markets in Japan, which is hosting the Olympics this year, remained closed until Monday. And in the overnight trade on Thursday, US stocks closed marginally higher as investors weighed a sudden spike in unemployment benefits claims and threats from COVID's Delta mutant. The S&P 500 rose 0.20% and the Dow Jones gained 0.07%. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.36%. And that's all for now in the last trade with our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, UK and Canada. 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 Media has launched its operations in the US markets, and every day in our first show, the Global Market Roundup, you can get the latest and important news of the US, Europe and the Asia Pacific market. So on that note, I'll see you as close as possible to 10:30 a.m. live from Sydney. Stay safe and, well, please enjoy your weekend. Sage signing off.